Famed Super Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto had an interview with Japanese games site Nikkei this past week, and in it he states that he doesn't want to be rigid with the Super Mario franchise. His exact quote is, "To avoid casting Mario too rigidly, giving him freedom to explore different character scenarios." What does he mean by this? Any fan of the series knows of its ability and Nintendo's willingness to reinvent itself. One look at the franchise and the word rigid is not the first word that comes to mind. After setting the gold standard for 3D platforming on the Nintendo 64, he went all tropical with the water jetpack sprayer rocket. Then he went to space and circumnavigated planets, twice. His 3D land and world outings were his most standard 3D affairs. And if they were his most recent adventures, Miyamoto's quote would make a lot of sense. But then in 2017, Mario took on the sentience of creatures and objects, including dinosaurs, and stone sculptures, and power lines to do his will after throwing his hat at them. One has to ask the question, how much less rigid can the franchise get? Well, let's think about it. I'm guessing they're not referring to many of the ideas and creative functions they've included, but more so on the general template they've been using for years, of obtaining stars, shines, and moons. Since his 3D debut, Mario's been pretty fixated on the collection of such celestial objects. My interpretation of that Miyamoto line is, I'm guessing they're envisioning changing the series collection convention. But that brings up the question, what might a 3D Mario game in which you're not hoarding copies of golden entrapments look like? Maybe it'll take on more of a traditional action-adventure approach. Maybe one removed of separate levels or areas in favor of a more expansive, connected world? Maybe instead of collecting stars, you'll go to various towns and complete quests and objectives for different Mushroom Kingdom residents. Kind of like a Mario-esque Breath of the Wild. Nintendo is well aware of Mario's legacy, so I don't see them abandoning its outstanding platforming, and it would make sense if our plumber traversed the world through his trademark running and jumping. But I must admit, this new structure for a Mario game would be pretty exciting. Nintendo could also utilize some other aspects from their immense backlog of franchises. For instance, it would be cool if they borrowed from the Metroid game design, requiring items or abilities acquired later on to bypass an overworld obstacle. I know this all sounds like a crazy person spitballing random ideas, but what I want to get across is that what Miyamoto said this past week, this is exciting news. Nintendo thrives when they get weird. They push the boundaries of what a video game can be when they take risks. Like it's often said, they're the kings of left field. And they've foregone making any paid Odyssey DLC, so maybe a new Mario adventure is well into development. Maybe it will be the one to break any so-called rigid bounds set by the series' previous entries. Maybe soon we're going to see Mario get even weirder, and by extension, even better. I'd also be fine with an Odyssey 2, just saying. The first game was sensational. Thanks so much for watching my video, and if you enjoyed it, it would mean a lot to me if you considered subscribing, but never feel pressured to do so. Have a great day, and until next time, see ya.